I am a design research professional, and yes, I've been trying my luck with the electric vehicles now, and it's been a while since I've been doing it. And mostly what we do with NCube is essentially help companies mainly work in the area of research, styling, and then product development. So of course, with this talk, uh, I suppose I had a chance to take you through a lot of my product development journeys. Me along with my team of people. We've got a very healthy and smart young team here that I work along with. I'm glad about that. So uh, I have a little something that I wanted to showcase. So maybe I can share my screen and show you guys, take you through a presentation. I'm sure everyone can see the screen now.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Is it popping up? Yep. All right. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, and since it's the World Usability Day, and it's one of the probably the most important aspect of any product, be it physical, be it digital, be it a combination of both, be it an ecosystem, be it system design. And to start off with everything, I'd like to first discuss a few pointers, mainly in the area of how design is perceived, how design is envisioned, what design is. And in industrial design space, design is quite different than how design is in the tech world. So just to brush you through, take you through, I'm going to start, and I'm going to start by popping up a question for everyone. I just have this first question to start off with. So uh, just have a look, guys. I just want you to see and just give me an answer about it later. you know so but I want you guys to see this, envision this, and tell me about it, what you see later. So starting with design, what is design, and how design is perceived in the industry, and how it's perceived by people out there, how it's perceived by different stakeholders in the ecosystem. It's very important to understand all of that. And as designers, I think uh, we have that very valuable source of information that needs to be given out to users in a very specific and process oriented way. So design is probably, we can have many answers for this. Yeah, so please tell me about, what is design to you.
Shweta is answering. She's saying design is
Awesome.
to make meaning.
Oh, nice, nice. I like that answer.
Hmm.
It's very important. And yes, Shweta, you're right. Uh, Design is to create meaning. So basically, the most of what society knows about design is, for example, it's considered design is just part of decoration, to make things more beautiful. Maybe it's not that great. But honestly, saying art and design is going to change how the world is going to look, and not now how it is right now. It's about future. It's about how we envision, we create products, we envision for the future of mankind. And that's how design ever came into existence. Is really designed for decoration. I mean, I understand that decoration is subordinate to arts, but is design a subordinate to arts? I mean, we get it. Applied arts, decorative arts, commercial arts. Where exactly does design belong? Is it the fact that the designer works objectively on an objective goal and works for the others, and works with others? So I don't see that happening. Design has a lot is mostly process oriented, and there's a lot of planning that goes into it, a lot of tools that are utilized, and a lot of knowledge, past, present, is also studied. So of course, when we talk about knowledge, so there are three forms of knowledge. There's tacit knowledge, codified knowledge, and tooled knowledge. Which knowledge are we talking about, and how to use that knowledge? So if we compare design with arts, design is working objectively with objective goal. Arts, works subjectively. It's mostly self-expression. Design is working for others. Arts is working for themselves. Mostly individually. Design is working with others, and arts is very solo oriented. We use a range of design and planning tools, whereas arts is very intuitive, personally based on personal skills per se. And there's also another discipline, that in our Indian context is very heavy on the mindset of the people out here, which is engineering. So is design very closely linked to engineering, or are there any differences? So, a designer focuses on needs of people, whereas an engineer would think about, how to make things work. For designers, it's mostly thing to people relationship. I mean, that's how we come up with unique products, that's how we innovate. But for engineers, it's mostly thing to thing sort of relationship. Again, comparing the both, thing to people, thing to thing. Designers focus on needs of people, engineers would focus on making a product work. Designers would think about comfortable fit, safe, ease of use. Engineers would rather think about optimizing for function and production. Designers think, want to create concepts. They bring in a lot of human factors and appearance and styling and aesthetics into it. Engineers would focus on details, functionality, and performance. So design is for people, and let's look at it from scientific perspective. Different measures. Is design connected with mathematics? Designers would talk about better, worse. Mathematics would say true or false. Fit better, fit less, correct or incorrect. Work, doesn't work, complete, incomplete, beautiful, ugly, right and wrong. So there's a big difference. We are not working in zeros and ones as designers. We are not working in zeros and ones. So where do we really fit? At the cross cultural and technical streams, I suppose. Design per se, and design is very is understood very differently. So if we look at it from different cultural streams and different technical streams, I think this is where you see. So industrial design lies somewhere underneath engineering design, you know in the cultural stream. This is where we envision it. So, particularly industrial design came into existence, after understanding of how products are first engineered. So initially, it all started with engineering concepts evolving till the time there were people started realizing that human factors are going to be very important if we need to make products that we connect with people's lives, and eventually products that are going to enter into the lifestyle of people and create value for them. So again, science, technology, design, arts, to me, I look at everything in a very different perspective. Design for people in everyday life and situations. So now I would like to go back to the question I asked you first. What do you see here? Can I get some answers?
Okay, no answer as of now. I'm watching.
Okay.
Okay, so Dinah says glass half full. Aditya says half filled with water.
Nice.
Yes, two responses so far.
All right. Well, so just to move ahead and not waste much further time, Yes, you are right. Philosophically, an optimist would think that the glass is half full. Pessimist would think the glass is half empty. Technically saying the glass is always full. It's half water, half air. You know, but there's also other values to it, guys, and that is, again, commercial value. Total value is equal to utilized capacity of the container into demand for the container and its content. That's marketing. And there's a sentimental value. I'm a big Bruce Lee fan, so yeah. So design is not about a way of seeing. That's the first thing that people need to understand, and everywhere. And students and design students especially, and even students, I think, across the whole paradigm where our education from the school level enters into the university level. It's various ways of saying. So glass can be half empty, half full. It can be 200 something ml. It can be, used for putting brushes. You can put in a fish in a glass. You can think and do and like gazillion things by just viewing a glass which is half full or half empty or whatever it can be. Ideally, what happens is through design, what we are trying to do through understanding various tools, using the various tools in design, what we are trying to do is to make sense of chaos, guys. This is what is most important. And I think somebody just initially said about sense making. I think it's very important that we understand the importance of what design is and what role it plays in the development of products. So again, coming to sense making is another very important factor of usability, the use of product. So for example, if we are creating a product and we are understanding, so we go about doing a lot of stakeholder analysis, we do journey mapping, we do various forms of prototyping exercise to come up with our first hand prototypes. But if it all doesn't make sense, then it is all done for nothing. It all just goes away. So sense making is actually a process by which people give meaning to an experience. So what happens is that an experience is originated, and that experience is understood. It has to be a meaningful experience, of course, for it to be understood. It consists of both interpretation of information and generating what meaning is interpreted. So it's both. It's both. Sometimes it overlaps each other in various forms, but most of the time both ends are understood. Sense making as an approach to studying and understanding user and designing systems to serve them has been developing since very early in 1970s. And then after that, all of this knowledge had been applied to mostly the IT products, be it hardware or be it software. Knowing and sense making. Of course, knowing nowadays is power, right? I mean, even if we know the wrong things. So it has become power because for survival, and it is so powerful, just knowing. So knowing something wrong is equally destructive as knowing something good is constructive in nature. Situation, surrounding, environment, nature. So knowing, knowledge, and wisdom, these are three different things, and how it is perceived is very important to understand from each perspective. And of course, knowing is power. We talk about 10,000 BC, when humans started up, we created our first civilization. And since then, what is happening is that there's been so much ups and downs that have happened in probably lives of all of us. Uh, to progress in nature, we go through both the things. We go through chaos and we go through a lot of development. So of course, we talk about the early in the 15th century, we had 30 years of wars between, back in the days, Catholic states in Central Europe, socio-political upheaval in France. We had two world wars. We had oil crisis. We had in Asia's financial crisis. We had geopolitical stagnate, and now again we are dealing with this coronavirus crisis. But then what happened is it also sort of created a lot of order. So agricultural revolution happened, rationalism happened, the age of enlightenment, the age of discovery and renaissance, rationalism upsurge, industrial revolution. So every time chaos happened, it also gave rise to order. And that's how humans have sort of evolved, and we are used to it. And one way or the other, we've formed habit. So this up and down is what is creating development, guys. So to ensure chaos under control, the development and management of knowledge became important, very important. And I think that was, early 90s when it was understood, and the concept of knowledge management came across. So sense making is not just about things to things relationship, it's about people to things. It embraces complexity and diversity equally, because when we are talking people, when we are understanding people, we need to be very unbiased when we are trying to understand them. So we need to be at a situation where we take in data from X, Y, Z, and be able to empower ourselves to process all that data in order to come up with our first hand insights to developing a product. And we hear a lot of talk about user experience, and there are very different perspective again for this very own term, user experience. I'm a big fan of the guy, Don Norman, and Don says that it's very different for Don as user experience, and I'm sure everyone here knows the guy.
Once upon a time, a very long time ago, I was at Apple. And we said the experience of using these computers is weak. The experience, when you first discover it, when you see it in the store, when you buy it, when you can't fit it into the car, it's in this great big box, it doesn't fit into the car. And when you finally do get it home, opening the box up and, it looks scary, I don't know, I dare put this computer together. All of that is user experience. It's everything that touches upon your experience with the product, and it may not even be near the product. It may be when you're telling somebody else about it. That's what we meant when we devised the term user experience and set up what we call the user experience architect's office at Apple to try to enhance things. Now, Apple was already pretty good, so we were starting with a good product, making it even better. Today, that term has been horribly misused. It's used by people to say, I'm a user experience designer. I design websites or I design apps. And they have no clues to what they're doing. And they think the experience is that simple device, the website or the app or who knows what. No, it's everything. It's the way you experience the world. It's the way you experience your life. It's the way you experience a service. Or, an app or a computer system, but it's a system. It's everything. Got it?
So yeah, so like Don said, it's a system. It's not just one aspect. It's various aspects coming together to form that experience. And then through the experience we make sense making, and through sense making we achieve knowledge. So everything is very well connected here. So yes, so very well said by Don himself, and I think that's how technology also understood human factors, and how technology has imbibed them today. It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing what tools like Facebook, WhatsApp, and just to give you some examples, or even Amazon are capable of. If you look at it from one perspective, they're all tools, but they're tools that are running people's lives now. So imagine the amount of research that has gone in this. So I'm not too sure if how many of you have studied Dewey and Bakhtin, but Dewey and Bakhtin have been very influential when it comes to studying experience, and they have been very influential in this case. So experience through their perspective is constituted by relationship between self and object, where the self is always engaged when and comes to every situation with personal interests and ideologies. People and setting are also changed by experience. I'm sure a lot of us already understand this. The unity of an experience is itself a moving, fragile, fleeting event. So, we are living in our present, but we have our past connected to us, and we are always dreaming about the future. So, all this is becomes the part of the human acceptance of the current world experience that we have. And experience is an irreducible totality, so we are always living in it. Sensation, perception, experience together constitute sensing, acting, feeling, meaning making, thinking is all part of the irreducible totality, and through this totality we are envisioning our future. So this is how we sort of uh, came up with our first idea of setting up NCube, because we always wanted to be a very research driven and research oriented organizations, and we have always tried to implement in our work. And now I'd like to take you through some projects very quickly, the ones that we've done. So we started back in the days in 2012 by working on some very interesting off-road concepts that I designed personally myself. Not just designed, but manufactured. Each and every part were developed, handmade. But then, very soon we realized that, there are so many aspects to this that we are still missing. To look at the bigger picture, we need to go global. And this is when we started collaborating with a lot of manufacturers in China, and also a lot of manufacturers in Southeast Asia, especially Thailand, Indonesia, and Malaysia. This is where the two-wheeler market actually is. And these are a few projects that we have done over the years that I'm trying to show you that have been very influential in the market. And we got a chance to develop a completely new product, understanding the market, its people. So it becomes very, very interesting. We even had a chance to collaborate with Yamaha and work on one of their projects for the Indonesian market. And this is one of our initial ideas. We conceptualized this for Honda, which was then implemented in the market, a complete clay model. So this is how what we do when we are talking about a clay model. This is what we do. This is one of our clay models. This is how we model. This is a one by one. There are a lot of details that are added to it. From styling, going from one stage to the other, and then so ideally for us, we start our processes by conducting a design research exercise, which is then mapped along with the market research exercise. And then after we gather our insights, we start to sketch. And once we start to sketch, we come up with a lot of different ideas. Mind you, we go in hundreds, we go crazy, to come up with new and new ideas. And then moving from sketching into the final sketch stage, then detailing out each and every part. Once we have detailed out each and every part, on the side, we are also working on engineering perspectives. For example, just setting up the chassis of the vehicle. So we set up the chassis of the vehicle. Once the engineering design is done, we develop the chassis. On that chassis is where we develop our clay models. And clay models just add more definition to our products. Just to show you some of our sketches, how we go about the concept initially. So these are some of our rough sketches, very rough. This is something that we showcased in 2016 at Auto Expo in New Delhi. And we've done a lot of work in three-wheeler designs, a lot of work. This is one of the projects that we are working, all electric. We are trying to work on a new ecosystem development for this category of vehicles, where we want to bring in a lot of new flavor to it. We wanted to add new colors, we wanted to give it a complete new look, aesthetically, but also functionality. So this, what you're looking at, is a complete functional design, and we are currently in the process of prototyping it, and very soon, and this is something that we are doing in Maharashtra, so very soon you will see this hopefully running on the roads in Maharashtra. Then we developed this for a Chinese manufacturer based in Jining. And so again, guys, a lot of details goes into it. The development cycle of products goes from one starts from a year to 3 years. This development that you're seeing is all Chinese. This is for one of our clients based in Jining. Jining is up north in China, very close to North Korea. So this is where we developed this product. Then a few conceptualization and ideas that we had done for Lohia Auto back in the days. This is done mainly for the CNG auto rickshaw. We did a lot of concept designing for them. More in the electric lines. This is more on the electric lines, whereas this is the regular CNG auto rickshaw that you also see applying. A very, very intense design research was conducted both in north and southern part of India. It took us almost 6 months to just finish the research side of it, to come up with just some ideas, some ideation for new design and development. And just to show you guys, how usability, how we implement design research into usability. So I'm just going to play this video for very short time, just to show you that, how we connect with various stakeholders in the ecosystem, and how it is important for us to study all of this. So we designed this vehicle, and we developed a prototype. So this is an exercise where we have developed a prototype, and we are now showing it to various stakeholders. So these are the guys that are regular e-rickshaw drivers. So we created a new design, and just look at how it is observed. How would they go about checking the vehicle from various different angles? And we need to study all of this. So they would go all crazy, they would want their vehicle to be as sturdy as possible, and all this feedback is what we rely on. अब देखो ये चीज मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ So the idea is to showcase you guys that, how deep research is when it comes to usability. So we developed a prototype, we gave it out to people just to show them, understand what their perception is, and see, what they say about it. And we go back to our research again. So sometimes what happens is that if the product fails even at a prototype stage, we go back again and we start all over again. And that is what the beauty of design is, because till the time we don't identify the right application of it, till that time we can't really we can't be very sure of the success of the product in the market, because it's not only depending or focusing on a specific area, which is called marketing. So marketing is big, especially when it comes to automobiles. Marketing is big. If Honda launches a new scooter, they would launch it with probably an actor or an actress. They go very big on the budgets. But guys, that is not what is selling the vehicle. It is the design that has gone behind it. It is the research that has gone behind it to make it more usable for people who use it every day. It's not that actor or the marketing side that sells the product. If they were the reason, the product would have definitely gone out of the market. So, understanding different viewpoints. For example, here what I want to show you is ergonomics. So how much ergonomics is important. The ease of use of a certain product, how we sit in it, how we stand on it, how we move it forward, how we bring it back, how are we using it when it is not being used, are we just letting it go on charge. All this aspect needs to be studied before we come up with a concept or a design. Various ways of using a product, so here is a glimpse of how an electric loader is considered to be used in the market. Various different models, how different seating, a seating change can be adapted to various different stakeholders, and the use of the product changes. And this one is a very unique project that we did with the Urban Development Management of Shenzhen. So just like we have our local MCD departments here in India, there's also Urban Development Management. And we were lucky to be able to design a complete new cleaning kit for their crew for Shenzhen in China. And it was one of the greatest projects I ever worked with, because it gave me a very deep insight into the labor class of China, and I was so amazed of so many factors that these guys bring in, so much value they can add to design. And we created a complete kit for them, which included a big we developed a garbage pickup. We developed a new broom. This was a more ergonomic broom. We developed it through understanding materials. We wanted to use minimum plastic and use more of natural material. So we designed a model where we can, use the natural material and, just change it, just put it back on. Designed the cart. So a complete kit. And then China, with its consumer electronics market is very bizarre. So we did design a fruits washing machine. Chinese are very, very obsessed with their fruits, and how much they want it clean. As a society and as a culture, China is very different than us. They might be similar in so many areas, but that is a different talk altogether. So yes, for their consumer electronics market needs, we design completely different things. Smart air purifiers, I think nobody needs it more than guys us in Delhi. So I think it's become like a tradition. So just want to show you certain products that we've done and the application of it. Some industrial robots. This was a very interesting project with the company called Wild SC, again based out of China. Then our collaboration with the SIAT, the Shenzhen Institute for Advanced Technology and Science Academy, Chinese Academy of Sciences. So we designed a drone for them. This is an exhibition drone. It's mainly used to cover exhibitions. Then we also designed a service robot. And this service robot had a specific application to basically cover and in the area of exhibitions where your products are exhibited, you just go and showcase it, and it covers and gives out service, hands out service. So this was my team in Shenzhen that I worked along with, and very, very interesting years of my life. So with this, I think I come to an end. And I think we are also running out of time, if I'm not wrong. No, we aren't. I think we still have some time. So good. I think I can take some questions.
Yes. So maybe we can stop sharing. Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
All right. So there's actually a lot of questions. So maybe I can start with the simple question, and then we can move to the more complex one. So the simple question is, The research that you conducted, was it in North and South? Can you show more about the location?
North and South. Which research are you talking? Which project are they talking about?
So I think they were talking more when you were showing the Indian research with the auto. I think.
About the okay, about the auto rickshaw.
That's correct. I think that's when this question was raised.
Yeah, so when we're talking north, what we kind of covered more was basically, of course, Delhi NCR. That's where I am. So I'm very happy to arrange for things around here, because even doing these things is not that simple. You always need support. So so Delhi NCR is our topmost priority, but then we have UP, Western UP. We have Chandigarh, which is very important, area up in north. Then a little bit of Punjab, a few cities like Amritsar and all. Then Jaipur was. So these were the areas that we covered up north mainly. Roorkee, we went up till Roorkee. We didn't go to Uttarakhand, areas like that. Mostly Western UP, a little bit of Punjab, and Jaipur. That was covered in north. And in down south, we went to, of course, Mumbai and Pune is a must. That's where Bajaj is. And since we were developing the product in competition with Bajaj, and when it comes to auto rickshaw category, guys, 95% market share is with Bajaj. So very soon we realized that we can't mess with them. These guys are big. And even the project that I was doing it for, so that's how design research helps, guys. Because we are getting into an ecosystem which is unbreachable. And Bajaj has set itself very deep in that area, and it was understood. So this project was with Lohia Auto. Lohia Auto is mostly into electric vehicles development, mainly three-wheelers and in electric rickshaw, three-wheelers, but they are planning to move into CNG auto rickshaw development. They're getting a new engine developed by a recently formed collaboration from a company in Scotland. And that's how we started researching about, coming up with new ideas. But no, it did not work for them. It did not. They very well found out very soon that it's not going to work. So down south, there were Mumbai, then Pune, then there was Bangalore, of course, Hyderabad, and Bhubaneswar. We did Bhubaneswar because for Lohia Auto, Bhubaneswar was a good market. So we covered that.
Wow, that's interesting. So how long it took you to complete this research?
6 months. It took me nearly 6 months to finish all of that, because it's huge, no? And so, for example, while I was in Pune, and I think you guys are familiar with Pune, right?
Yeah.
So from Baner to God knows where, it was crazy for me. So what I did was I hired an auto rickshaw for an entire day, and that's how I used to go about it, because through that I also understood what is the pain of being in an auto rickshaw.
That's correct, yeah.
Tell you not, by the end of the day, my back was gone.
Yeah, I can understand. Live the life of a user, live a day with the life of a user.
Exactly. And so sometimes we also need to do that, and I use always this technique, immersion. I call this immersion, I completely immerse myself into it, and I try to live that life. So I even tried the auto rickshaw. So this guy, his name was Sandeep, I remember. And Sandeep and I spent a whole week together in Pune, of course. So he took me to places I couldn't have even imagined. So you won't imagine, but there are luxury auto rickshaws in Pune. People go about customizing their auto rickshaws to the level that they've spent like a lakh and a half just inside that auto rickshaw.
Right. I think Pune is big for customizing cars as well. Some really fancy car customizing people are in the city.
So see, how important culture is. That's not the case. Let's say, in the middle of India, maybe Madhya Pradesh or someplace, nobody's going to think about doing like that. No,
right.
Customization. No, in Delhi, it's completely opposite. Delhi is just show off.
Okay.
So it's so different. Different cultural aspects, different user segments can add so much value to your product.
That's correct. That's true. Questions about how can we ask unbiased questions?
Okay. Well, Well, this is a tricky one, but let me tell you guys, there is definitely going to be a chance that you might be biased. But the thing is that you have to, being a designer is more about being a people person. You know, I think, and I'll be very honest when I'm saying, I think designers are only real, are the real people. You know, so we can't. Uh, and you know, we use a little of this thing called empathy, and this empathy can only be delivered to the other end till the time you try to understand their situation. So when I mentioned that you can't be biased, yes, you can't be biased, because to get the exact information out of, you know, whosoever you're interviewing or whosoever you're talking to, I think it is very important that you make them very comfortable with yourself. And to be able to make them comfortable, you need to listen to them. And I think just by becoming a good listener, you can solve that problem of being, you know, biased. Because as long as we offer ourselves and our imagination and our understanding to them, it is, they feel empowered. The person you're interviewing feels empowered, they feel more comfortable. So to be able to do that, I think you need to give them that space and give them that acceptance that, you know, they can speak to you freely.
Okay, so that's a very important point, you know. Yeah, the empowering
Yeah.
point. Often, I think when people are interviewing somebody, sometimes they feel they own the user, you know, and
Yes.
understanding that empowerment happen the other way around, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with
Yeah,
you completely.
often, especially if a fancy researcher is interviewing auto rickshawala, which he never respected in his life, has sit with the rickshawala and listen to everything that the rickshawala wants. It's a very different. This whole space becomes very different when people are starting, especially the blue collar and the marginalized, the group of people. So this
Yes.
whole empathy kind of sometimes changes. Okay,
Yeah.
so another question. Okay, so as long as user research is here, people keep asking this question. What is the
Okay.
difference between user research and market research? So this question has to come. So this question has come again.
So all right, guys, so I'm going to you know, just give you a very simple answer to this. uh, that, you know, market research and design research or user research, you know, user research data is very qualitative in nature. You know, try to understand certain factors that, oh, we can go about making user research also very quantitative, but it is more about understanding the cultural and individual perspectives that users have. So when we are talking about designing a product, you know, how, I'll tell you what is the application of design research and what is the application of market research. So for example, the market research data tells me that, okay, the market requires a 300cc motorcycle, let's say. The market requires 300cc motorcycle. So we don't go about talking to users about, you know, how they feel about going, how they feel about buying a 300cc motorcycle. You know what, we'll try to talk to them, we'll try to talk to them, okay, what can 300cc be motorcycle used for? You know, we are more interested in understanding their perceptions on what these guys will use a 300cc motorcycle for, so that I can design a specific category of motorcycle. Or do we have a potential of designing a completely new category? You know, can we go global with the product? So for example, you know, in China, working in China and working in India, the biggest difference that I personally feel is that when I'm working in India, I work under a lot of limitations. But whereas when I'm working in China, I work freely. I work freely because I have creative independence. And also, as a community, the Chinese buyers are very open to purchasing something new that has come into the market. You know, that allows me to create a new product in a new category. So here, of course, you know, so you also need to understand the industry side of it. So this is my side of it, but the industry works in a very different way. What they would look at is, they would look at, okay, So we have some good qualitative data by design research, which says this X, Y, Z. And then we have market research data that says A, B, C. You know what they do then? They try to align both of them. So maybe we identify that, okay, through design research, we have identified that a 300cc motorcycle can be used for adventure or, just normal everyday street riding purpose. Then whatever the market research data will tell you, we will try to combine it and make a motorcycle that you can use every day and also go to adventure rides over the weekends. So we'll try to submerge all of that and then come up with a product. So all I'm trying to tell you is that the use of that data is very different. So that is the biggest difference in market research and design research or user research.
Nikhil, thank you so much for joining us today.